A breaker is a piece of test equipment that sits in between a device and a host. And what it does is it cuts the signals in that wire.
So we can cut power pins, we can cut the high-speed data, we can cut digital sidebands. So we can perform the equivalent of fully removing or inserting that cable, or we can inject a range of errors into it.
So when I'm developing a product, I will sell it to a customer, and the customer might plug in their monitor very quickly, they might plug it in very slowly, they might have a little bit of skew as they plug it in, so one side of the connector meets first.
How are you going to test what happens if any one of those is damaged? So if you are inserting a drive or other device or communication link into an active system, it's expecting every pin to connect in the normal way and work. But what if it doesn't? One bent pin, one bad connection, how's your system going to respond to that? So there isn't very much directly available for this in competition. You can do a lot of these tests manually, but that might involve individually cutting a pin in a connector, for example, or plugging a device 100 times, trying to get different speeds. But what if you find a problem? How do you repeat exactly the same scenario again? Without something like our breaker, you can't do that. So we can perform all these tests in a simple, repeatable, and ideally automated fashion so the customers can find potential problems with their systems early.
The software and the system has to deal with these different scenarios, and so we automate those scenarios, and we can program our device and run through a lot of those very quickly.
Our breaker products started off being used in the storage industry for helping test enterprise drives. Take a live system, you have to be able to remove a failed drive, plug in a new one, and it has to work every single time. The same with the various interconnecting cables in the data center. Any reason for the system going down or data loss can cause a catastrophe for the banks or other major customers that are using that center. But we work with a lot of systems outside of that as well, so high-speed telecommunication links, for example, robotics, medical systems, aerospace, anything where there is critical communication links between parts of a system.
Anybody who builds a product which has to work should be interested in our products. When we make a product, we understand the customer requirements, that it is transparent, it should not be there. When our breaker is on, it should be completely invisible to the system. And that is not an easy thing to achieve. We have spent a lot of years understanding how to do that very effectively. We've built up a large repertoire of different equipment for different interfaces and different control methods. One of the things that we're particularly proud of is that our customers can get in touch with the engineers who designed the product very quickly, get a very knowledgeable support.